Na 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 na. Time cats, go! It's zombie time.
There we go. Yeah, zombie
So
time.
Doctor Who was a pile of butts today. I mean, this week.
Yeah, let's talk about that. I'm still shocked by just how bad that episode was.
If
I
you
mean,
don't,
I mean, you were talking.
if you don't sleep for long enough, your sleep will turn into the Sandman and punch you.
Well, what was it? I'm not sure it was that, but it also had something to do with the modification to the machine that it was telling. Yeah, it was. None of it made any sense. It really feels like you remember that one episode that you said was a fan episode that someone made that had Moaning Myrtle in it.
That was no, the Love and Monsters. That episode was made. The only part of it that was made by fans was the monster itself. It was created by a fan. The episode itself was written by professional BBC staff.
Well, this one rivals that one in terms of the most horrid Doctor Who
And this one
miniseries.
was actually meant to. You know what? This was another episode like Love and Monsters. This had an experimental plot gimmick going on.
Was that monster supposed to be scary? My mom actually started laughing when she saw it. My mom
The
was
Love and
laughing at that
Monsters monster, or this one.
No, the Sandman from This Is What You
Oh
Talk
yeah,
About.
I really like the design of the Sandman, but I don't think it was necessarily scary.
I don't like the design of it either. It was like,
I think that it's very creative, and maybe if this had been like some sort of a plant thing and not a monster, but just an alien that was just walking around, you weren't supposed to be afraid of it. It was just there, like as a background alien species that was a plant. Then this would have been okay. But as a central monster, not related to plants, this is supposed to be a creature made out of sleep dust. This
out of the goop from inside your eye.
I think
Yeah.
that's quite. I actually meant to Google that and find out what it was called for the podcast. I'm going to do that now. Sleep dust. What is sleep dust actually called?
I think I'm going to call it eye crust,
Let's see.
but whatever. The point of the matter is that goop that comes at the corner of your eye is what it was made out of, supposedly.
I have it open. I have no idea how to pronounce this. It's also okay. Down. It is the thin mucus discharge from the eyes.
Yes. And apparently the Sandman was made out of that, and yeah, it was pretty ridiculous. I mean, the monster itself was not terrifying.
Yeah, you know what? I hadn't thought of it, but yeah, just like Love and Monsters, this was an episode with a really dumb monster, and it was all based around the gimmick by which it was shot by. This episode was meant to be a Doctor Who version of a found footage. This was the first episode in the entire 50 years of the show that didn't have the intro sequence because they thought supposedly because they thought it wouldn't make sense for somebody to have edited because the only way it would have made sense is for somebody in universe to have created the introduction sequence. And you know what? I think that would have fit because this dude apparently wanted to make an interesting hour of television for his found footage documentary because it was all part of his evil scheme to do something somehow. Apparently watching this episode turns you into a sand monster somehow.
Well, yeah, I mean, I guess it's like something like The Ring and stuff like that, where you see this movie and you die in 7 days. Only if you see this ring, you turn into one of those monsters.
Okay, great. I have to watch it. I have more homework to do then. Good. I don't want.
It's a whole genre. Just Google.
You know what? Fuck it. I'm not watching follow up shit for this episode. It's like like again. The most redeeming thing I found about this episode, besides its gimmick, I think that they executed the filming gimmick very well, but they're never going to do it again because the actual episode was so bad.
Yeah. So, like you said, this is a combination of several horror tropes: the found footage and the you die after you watch this footage.
Frankly, I don't recall having seen both of those being executed at the same time and finding that very creative. Also, I just wish that they had a better idea of what to do with it than that.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was. I mean, again,
like the most.
First off, the movies that did them well were again were the initial ones. Like The Ring did it for in terms of the you watch this video and you die, and the Blair Witch Project did the whole spooky spooky found footage things. But those were gimmicks that really only worked once, and they weren't scary again after the first time. They barely worked, even as I personally never found either one of them that great. But some horror fans loved them as in their initial gimmick, but they didn't really work after their first. I mean, Blair Witch Project 2 and The Ring 2, I think there was a Ring 2, were both not considered really good. I mean, they just didn't. They were one hit trick. They were one hit wonders like Five Nights at Freddy. The original Five Nights at Freddy is great, and they managed to capitalize on it while it was still fresh with the sequels. But all the people who try to capitalize on the success now, it's just not going to work again. Even if you have it's been done. I mean, it was an idea that was clever, and it worked once, but it doesn't really have a lot going for it besides the novelty of it.
That's another thing. The whole plot was based around the song "Mr. Sandman."
Yeah, that's another thing. That gets into into another is for whatever reason they decided that this was going to be, was it Japanese or was it unspecified Asian crap?
Japanese Indian. There was like a thing. There was like some sort of incident that made Japan and India fuse together, and I guess the act of physically merging together canceled out any of their unique culture, because this episode had none of it.
Yeah, I mean, at one point you do see what appears to be Japanese lettering on one of the windows of, you see very briefly, and also there does appear to be some Asian actors, but actors and actresses. But other than that, the entire plot draws entirely from Western culture. The Mr. Sandman, as you know, is a 50s or 60s US
1954.
Yeah, 1954 pop classic. The Morpheus, which the project was named after, was a Greek god, and the Sandman is a monster from Northern Europe folklore. So despite the fact that they made it a point early on to say that this was this was an Asian spacecraft or Japanese, you said Indian spacecraft of what happened thousands of years from now when they wind up going up into space and stuff or whatnot. Despite that, they have no unique culture of their own, and all of their culture is completely replaced with European culture. And
I'm sure Stephen Moffat would justify it. We all like, oh, in the future, it's evolved everybody Westerns.
Except again, we've gone into they went into the 10th Doctor and Donna Noble went into a Chinatown in space, and it still very much had it's still very much retained a sense of culture. Now you can argue that that's Chinese, and these are, but the whole thing about the fact that their culture is destroyed, and they just now have a Western European culture is kind of
okay. This episode was written by Mark Gatiss. I was under the impression that he was good. According to Wikipedia, the thing's confusing. Hold on. Let's see. He's written The Unquiet Dead, The Idiot's Lantern, Victory of the Daleks, Night Terrors, Cold War, Crimson Horror, Robot of. Okay, I liked Robot of Sherwood.
Yeah, that one was.
The rest of the ones on here are not that great.
But yeah, it's the episode. I'm not qualified entirely. I'm not really at all. I'm not qualified to speak on racial issues because it's not my lane. But yeah, the whole thing gave off a real sense of. It gave off a sense of like, what the.
Well, it's okay if you're not qualified to talk about racism, because there is a ton to complain about in this episode.
Yeah, it just feels. And the plot's a mess. The setting is why bother setting it in a Japanese Indian spaceship if you're not gonna have any representation there at all besides the actors and some of the actors and actresses being of that descent. Why?
Because everyone complains that Doctor Who has access to all time and space and only ever takes place in London. So they decide, well, you know what? Instead of the British owning this spaceship, what if we cross that out and just write Japan?
But again, that just shows how little they understand about, because you can't just say, oh well, we need more representation in here, so we'll just say that it's a Japanese spaceship, but everything is still as if it was British.
And speaking of representation, this episode featured Bethany Black, the transgender actress that Doctor Who cast that everybody made such a big deal about. Did you recognize her?
Oh, I did. No,
she played the grunt that everybody hated. They were all like, "Oh, that's a grunt. Who cares about that grunt? I don't care." we hate that guy. So good job, Doctor Who. You cast somebody to be progressive, and then you give them a part that really doesn't demonstrate their themselves at all.
And yeah, nothing in that episode is memorable besides of how bad it was. I mean, again, this one goes. This one competes for that Love and Monsters for which one is the worst episode of the new
And
series.
even the Doctor jumping to he had there was the Doctor came up with them being sand people made from sleep dust. Where would he have gotten that? How do you even form unless you are the jackass who wrote the episode? How would you come to that conclusion? How would you piece that together at all? It's just okay. So like, what was the Doctor just so was the Doctor just so disgusted at this Morpheus machine that he just randomly decides, okay, so the monster of the week is caused by this machine that does a thing I don't like, that doesn't.
I think there's only one. There's only. I mean, this isn't the first time this Doctor has made some deductions that don't make sense. That don't make sense how he made those deductions. And I think there's only one explanation for it. Cocaine's a hell of a drug.
Well, he is the rock star Doctor, so he obviously does cocaine.
Yeah. He's that. Oh, he's. I mean, that's this one. But yeah, it's ridiculous. There's nothing of value.
What
in this episode
what the
whatsoever.
hell? Why the hell was the Doctor ranting about that sleep machine? Like, what's the downside?
Well, I understand why from a moral perspective why, because it was very much this episode, the underlying current to it was very much an anti-capitalist one.
Oh yeah, the
where,
actual machine. The actual machine itself exists to make people more,
not have to sleep
so they can put more
hours.
work in, and that's not. It's like, no, if I go through a thing and I don't need to sleep anymore, I'm not going to waste my time working for you. I can't even work normally. So like, no, I'm just gonna watch every episode of this anime that Joe keeps telling me to watch, and then I'm done.
Yeah, it's yeah. It's like if you're going to use that for some sort of ridiculous, I mean, at least use it for well. Again, I think they were trying to make there with a statement about capitalism.
Yeah,
But,
if I didn't have to sleep anymore, I would just binge watch a bunch of shows. Finally watch this anime Joe keeps telling me about.
although then again, that again it puts in the question: was that another stereotype that they're using about the overworked about the Asian culture and their and overworking? Is that another stereotype they were
Considering there weren't any Asians in this episode, I don't think so. Were there? Were there?
I think there were. I don't know. I can't remember anyone because everything about the episode is
I know there were some white people, and that Bethany Black was in it. I didn't recognize her, and
I can't even remember. Everyone in their
oh hey, it says here this episode has received the lowest score on the United Kingdom Appreciation Index since Love and Monsters. This is the worst episode of Doctor Who since Love and Monsters.
Yeah, I'm not surprised because it's absolutely
it
horrendous.
is dramatic, and Wikipedia even has a little chart here that lists the reception per episode. The first two episodes are all right. Then The Girl Who Lived is rated pretty low. Then the next few episodes are a little bit higher. The next 5 episodes are good, and then it goes all the way down from 90 to 60.
I really want to compare this monster reveal to some of the stuff you see when Jim Sterling does these
like, I almost want to watch Love and Monsters now just to see how it compares to this episode, because I never actually watched Love and Monsters. I skipped over it when I was watching the main series because I knew it was the worst episode, and it was
I've seen it once.
I knew it was the worst episode of the modern series, the classic series, the whole damn show, and that it was a Dr. Light episode, so it had no bearing on the plot. Unfortunately, it does have a bearing on the plot. The Absorbloff is only on Earth because his home planet was stolen by the Daleks for their weird planet thing they did that season. So that was going on. Of course, it's not much better because the episode that was directly after Love and Monsters that I did watch was also shit. That was fun.
But yeah, this episode, the monster. I want to compare it to. There's this one game that Jim Sterling's actually played twice. where you just have these ridiculous asset monsters, and they're just bouncing around, and there's this one that looks like this giant flea that just prancing around like a dog like a small dog at a beauty pageant. And when Jim Sterling sees it, he's just like laughing, he's unable to contain himself. And it's like the game is terrible, but just the sheer reaction to how just how ridiculous the monster is, and that's kind of my feelings towards this monster, this mush monster is that it's just like.
I could have gone directly from the Satan pit to Army of Ghosts, but instead I watched Fear Her first. Anyway, Fleamen. Castlevania has actual Fleamen in it. Castlevania Symphony of the Night has Fleamen in it, and your example of just how the only joy that can be derived from this game is the reaction to the flea monster.
Well, it was just a giant flea. It was just a giant flea that was bouncing around like a dog, and that's really all there is just how ridiculously out of place the monsters look like because they were store-bought assets.
I don't like to play video games unless I'm recording for that exact reason. If a game is not good, and most video games these days are not good, if a game is not good, the only joy I can derive from them is how much money I would make from people watching me play them. And I can't record video. I can't record video games for right now. So I'm mostly just play games that I know are good already.
Yeah, but the monsters, the goo monsters, they're mud monsters basically. They're mud men. They're sandmen. They're just.
I promise you that if the crew of Doctor Who learns if they have an ounce of brain, they will take these costumes, they will paint them green, and they will just reuse them as a plant monster, as a plant alien that's just walking around in the background, because that is the only way you're going to be able to reuse these costumes for anything.
They can sell them to Digital Homicide to be monsters in the next game.
Oh yeah, Digital Homicide. You know, they're that company's basically throwing shit at the wall to see what sticks. Every TV company, every TV show that makes a crappy episode, you just dump their props on Digital Homicide and see where it goes. We might end up with the Digital Homicide Rock Raiders.
As a matter of fact, I think I'm gonna call this the Digital Homicide episode from now on, because that's how bad it is. It doesn't. Why does this episode exist?
This episode exists because they wanted to do a found footage gimmick, but they couldn't think of a plot, so they just did it anyway.
Yeah, they just said found footage. We'll just throw shit together. People love found footage. No one's liked found footage, and found footage hasn't been good enough.
I think they executed the gimmick fairly well. That doesn't mean I liked it. I can appreciate the technique, but the actual episode isn't good.
All they had was the gimmick, though. All they had is an overused gimmick with nothing about it.
Dude, we learned nothing from Transformers Armada, the toy line, not the show. That's a very weird thing to say. But I am going to compare this episode of Doctor Who to a toy car that turns into a bad robot. The Transformers Armada toy line, all the toys had these ridiculous gimmicks that completely ruined the toy. Like Hotshot couldn't even move his arms because he had to have a bazooka in his face or some shit.
Well, all I know is I like the Transformers Armada series.
Oh yeah, Transformers Armada was my introduction to Transformers, and I'm still enthusiastic about the Transformers even through Michael Bay's bullshit. So that obviously means Transformers Armada did something right.
Yeah.
Their version of Starscream is the best, like, ever in the whole franchise.
Transformers Armada. I do like their version of Starscream. They gave him some motion and empathy that was able. The way he got along with the human kids was gave him a sense of personality that the other Decepticons frequently don't have.
I haven't watched Transformers Armada in almost since it originally aired. So and because of my memory issues, I have nothing to go on except that Starscream's characterization was good, that I liked Hotshot, and Optimus Prime was Optimus Prime. Also, holy frijoles.
Also, another good thing about before we go on to The Walking Dead here, since we're on Transformers, another good thing about Transformers Armada is the voice actors that they used for Optimus Prime and for Megatron in Transformers Armada and that whole Transformers series was the same voice actors they used for Beast Wars Megatron and Beast Wars Optimus Prime.
I did not actually know that.
Yes, and for those who don't know, those two are my favorite voices for Megatron and Optimus Prime.
Let's see. Gary Chalk is Optimus Prime, and David Kaye is
Oh yes,
Megatron. Oh yes.
oh yes, indeed.
Oh yes, indeed. I love that.
Yeah,
I loved Beast Wars. I loved Beast Wars too. I remember watching it, but I remember nothing about the show. I just know that I watched it.
You just remember David Kaye's
I just
voice.
know that I watched it, that I liked it, and that I really liked Megatron. He was my favorite for some reason. Probably the voice.
That voice. David Kaye's voice is yes.
Yes. Oh yes, indeed.
Yeah. Oh yes, indeed.
David Kaye for president. No, David Kaye's voice for president, not David Kaye himself, just his voice.
Yeah, I really do. I really would like to see more Transformers with their voices.
David Kaye's original voice for president. No, David Kaye's voice for president. David Kaye himself can be vice president to his own voice.
Although one thing that's interesting is while David Kaye did Megatron in both Beast Wars and in Transformers Armada, later on I think in Transformers Animated.
Transformers Animated. What? Yes.
He came back and did Optimus Prime.
Yeah, he played a younger and inexperienced Optimus Prime that wasn't in charge of the Autobots because they were playing with everything on this show. Like, all right, let's bring out Megatron's old voice actor, but let's put him on Optimus Prime this time. Optimus Prime doesn't lead the whole shebang this time, and this guy can turn his back cable into a chair. Yeah, and then Michael Bay came and fucked it up.
Yeah.
Everything gets fucked up eventually. Doctor Who's been fucking up. It's not fair to say Transformers is fucking up because the shows and games are all right, but the movies are awful.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, back this is how I remember when a friend of mine back in 2007, 2008 first told me that Transformers was being made into a live action, and my first reaction to that was why. Why does this need to be done? What could you possibly get out of a live action Transformers that you couldn't get in an animated movie or an animated show?
The answer is Shia LaBeouf. Specifically, Shia LaBeouf years later watching the movie and recording his reactions.
Yeah.
Shia LaBeouf recently went on a marathon watching all of the movies he's ever been in, even bit parts, and filming himself. And I think they were streaming it, and yeah, the face.
So even he knows the Transformers movies were terrible.
The faces he made during the movies were just incredible. Yeah. I'm almost thinking of watching the whole stream, or are people going to make can people just take Shia's reactions and superimpose it over the movies and themselves? Because I think that they were actually just streaming him. I didn't actually watch the stream because I don't watch a lot of streams.
Yeah, but yeah, that's yeah. As I've told you before, I was unable to watch I was unable to even sit through the entire of the first Transformers movie. It was just
that one. Okay, so it's not the Transformers movie that we wanted or that we should have gotten. But for what it is, it could have been a lot worse. It could have been Transformers 2. Revenge of the Fallen is much.
I'm a big defender of the kind of people of the kind of thing where things are. I mean, I'm a fan of. I've used that argument myself in the defense of the prequel trilogy of Star Wars, because I do find that while not necessarily great as Star Wars films, I do find the prequel trilogy of the Star Wars movies, I find them bearable. I find enjoyment out of them. I'm actually capable of watching them. I've watched them several times.
It's because they're not bad if you watch them from the interpretation that they're Star Trek movies.
Well, I've also heard that some people who didn't grow up on the original trilogy and this was the first trilogy actually like it better.
Yes, that's how I was able to get through it, because when I was a kid, I had just seen Star Wars and just thought, okay, I don't know that this is supposed to be what Star Wars is.
Yeah. But yeah, I will say this. The original trilogy the prequel trilogy of Star Wars was at least enjoyable. I mean, there is entertainment value, and there's. I'll even argue that there's rewatchability.
If you like Star Trek, you're gonna like the Star Wars prequels. They don't really fit the tone of Star Wars, but if you like the Star Trek prequels, you will at least find enjoyment in them. I think I mixed that up. I said if you like Star Trek, you will like the Star Wars prequels, right? Okay, I feel like I may have mixed that up.
It's fine.
All right.
But don't think that there's. I mean, I don't think you can say that about the Transformers movie. I mean, I'm bored with it. I mean, it's again
I
as a recurring thing with movies with Shia LaBeouf as a starring character. I'm just like with I mean, at least with Indiana Jones and the Temple and the Crystal Skull, at least there was some redeeming moment to it. But I was just bored watching it. I got to the point where they had the boombox transformer sneaking into, was it Air Force One or the Pentagon or whatever?
I don't even remember.
And yeah, well, it was sneaking into some confidential area. It's somewhere towards the beginning of the movie, and I was like, you know what? I just can't watch this anymore. I mean, I don't see any redeeming value for. Not even
there isn't any. I said that it was I said that it was good for what it was, and what it is a throwaway movie. Someone just decided, hey, this franchise, this cartoon that people like, let's make it into a thing. Okay, we made it into a thing. Let's make four more.
I'm not even sure it's defensible as that, to be honest. I mean, I've seen some throwaway movies that were absolute rubbish, but I mean, at least kept me entertained. There's a number of there's a number of for example, giant spider movies that are just absolutely ridiculous, that have no reason that these should exist at all, but yet they're still able to keep me entertained. I was just bored. I didn't even get to the action segments of the movie because the movie is just so dull.
Throughout this entire conversation, I had to remind myself that you were talking about the first one and not the second one, because the second one is a million times worse. I guarantee you, I'm
never gonna watch the second one because I couldn't watch the first one.
If you found the first one to be boring, the second one would almost be unbearable for you, and I apologize greatly, but you are going to watch it eventually. I will make you.
No, I'm never going to watch it. I am never going to watch Transformers: Revenge of the Fallen.
All right,
no.
Definitely putting that on as a Patreon goal if I ever start a Patreon. Give us.
Oh yeah, if someone wants to pay me to watch Revenge of the Fallen, I will watch Revenge of the Fallen.
Yeah, give us like a.
But you better show me the money first.
Oh yeah, yeah. I don't have the brain to figure out Patreon at this time.
If someone wants to film me one, if
we could do like a riff tracks.
I don't like being bored.
The magic of editing.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. So anyway, so that whole part's gonna be edited out, right? That whole part where I was talking about that?
Oh yeah. The whole part where your face exploded into a million tacos, and I ate all the tacos and reformed your face from the tacos.
Yes.
None of that happens. Anyway, so let's stop talking about Transformers and start talking about Walking Dead's crossover with the Transformers. No, this was the episode. This was the long-awaited episode where Daryl, quote, turns into a weird horse.
What?
Oh, I'll get it. Norman Reedus posted a thing on his Facebook account, and I shared it, and it posted to Twitter, and I assumed you'd seen it. I'll put it in the description of this video for anyone who hasn't seen it or has seen it but didn't know it forgot it really happened, just thought they hallucinated or dreamed it. Let's see. Okay, so the description of this is: tonight's episode is the one where I turn into a weird horse. And here's Norman Reedus' photo of him as a weird horse. It's not a centaur because he doesn't. Oh wait, no, he does have arms. So I guess it is a centaur. I prefer a weird horse to centaur though.
I don't recall him being a centaur in this episode.
Oh no. See, it's very subtle. It was very subtle. They executed the horse, the weird horseness, very subtly. I think Greg Nicotero should get several Emmys for his subtle horse makeup.
I'm calling bullshit on this whole thing. I don't think this happened.
I don't think this happened. I think he may have jumped the ball here, dropped the ball here, and posted a teaser for next week's episode early. So I think he just wanted to see the surprise reaction of his fans, which he got because someone said, "All right, Norman, what the fuck?" Okay,
yeah, that's my.
All right, now you're stating the obvious. I'm trying to play along with the joke here.
I'm ruining your. I guess I'm playing the straight man here.
No, it doesn't matter. Apparently my gimmick on Beaver House and Productions is I explain the other three co-hosts' jokes, so that whenever they say something clever, I explain it, and that apparently actually does, for once, make it funnier, because I just do it in this really weird ass way. Like, yeah. The Joker would
I'm just confused and not understanding what's reality and what isn't anymore. That's my
the
problem.
Joker would approve. So anyway, the actual episode was about um I think it was about Abraham cooking steak with his butt or something. I,
No, it was
no, there was definitely butt steak.
was there butt
There was
steak?
butt steak.
Huh.
What?
I don't remember.
You, I did we watch the same episode?
Well, I do remember that there was, but I do know I was zoning off and on because I was I think I was
Yeah, I devote I devote as much attention to these episodes as I can when they're on.
I wasn't able to do that this week for
I
reasons.
know.
But yeah, and also I think I was playing Triforce
All right,
Heroes.
I'll summarize the episode for you as best I can. Okay,
I remember most of it though.
so
There
so
was,
Abraham is grilling steaks with his butt, and then him and Daryl and Sasha get ambushed by some guys. We don't know if they're wolves or not. They probably are not because they had guns. And then they get separated, and then Daryl gets his ass kicked by people who need insulin because that's realistic. Because people who require daily insulin shots are so tough that they can knock out Daryl. But anyway, realism aside, they do that, and then Daryl steals their insulin and then brings it back, and then they get ambushed, and then they steal his bike. But
yeah.
he steals their truck, so it's all good. And Abraham
I'm not sure that was their truck he stole.
and
It
Abraham,
was a
no, it is their truck. I watched The Talking Dead, and The Talking Dead, they made it clear. The lady they kept talking about, Patty, was actually their nickname for the truck. The writers didn't make that clear enough, but that was the original intention.
I did not watch The Talking Dead this week because it came on after
It,
some other show that I did not want to watch.
well,
So I just
I watch both shows the day after they air, so it didn't matter to me. But yeah, AMC is doing this thing where they use The Walking Dead now to promote this other show that they want people to watch, and it looks interesting for somebody who likes sword fighting shows, but I really don't.
yeah, it probably attracts the whole Kill Bill fan
Like
base.
I watched it and I was very impressed with the fight choreography and the teasers that were on The Talking Dead, but that's not my thing. I can appreciate the technique, but that's not my thing.
Like I said, it probably has this a lot of crossover audience with those who like Kill Bill. I was never interested in Kill Bill and never watched that, and
I
I'm not
I
interested.
have been meaning to watch Kill Bill, but haven't gotten around to it because I don't watch stuff until I just randomly feel like watching it. Like,
I've never felt like watching that, and this kind of whole yeah, it's not the kind of thing that I mean, it's got an interesting plot setup. I mean,
and
I think it's
apparently it has a strong female protagonist. I think she's a protagonist. I don't recall. I know nothing about the movie except that one meme where a person.
oh, are we talking about Kill Bill? I was talking about the show from this week now, the show that I missed.
Oh, that. Yeah, sure. I haven't been watching it because I'm not interested.
Yeah.
The only show about a guy about a sword fighter that I've ever, well, the only shows because I remember there are actually multiple. A lot of anime because with anime the shows not usually about the sword fighting. So like, yeah. One of my favorite songs is actually the opening from Rurouni Kenshin. Or
Yeah, that one's nice. Wait, yeah, I know which one. Yeah, I know that one. Yeah,
I also like Tenchi Muyo. I'm actually going to be basing a lot of my comics around Tenchi Muyo's parallel universe thing because I rebooted my comics a lot, and people were comparing it to Tenchi Muyo for some reason. And I saw the comparison because I remember I actually watched Tenchi Muyo. I remembered nothing about it except there was a rabbit that turned into a spaceship, and yeah, I think there were also flying soda cans, garbage cans. They were flying cylinders.
but yeah, the Walking Dead episode this
It was
week
very good. It was
had
very good. Weird horses and butt steak and all.
but yeah, there was yeah, again, focusing on what's going on with the Daryl and Red and
Red?
yeah, the guy with red hair,
Oh yeah, his name is Abraham.
and the
They
other
should have
one
just called
is
him Red. That would have been a cool name.
and the other one
No, but
is
the name they went with was Abraham Ford, so one could make the argument that that's also a cool name. It's actually a cool name, it's just not as memorable.
and what was the
Sasha.
the other person?
Sasha.
Sasha, yeah, that's right, Sasha. So it was go with Daryl, Sasha, and
Always,
Abraham.
always accountable. That was what the episode is called. I kept Googling it. I kept Googling butt steak, hoping that would bring up the name of the episode, but it didn't for some reason.
And they weren't actually they've actually been separated. They meet up at the end of the episode, but Abraham and Sasha are together for the episode, and they have that creepy pet zombie. that they just kept, and I would have killed that thing immediately because I don't want it breaking through the glass in the middle of the night and eating me. I would have killed that immediately.
I looked at it as Sasha was trying to tell Abraham it was just too much effort to break the glass just to kill the thing because it was locked, so you'd have to break the glass to kill it. But like, see, if the thing is, it seemed like it was actually tempered glass, like it was difficult to break. So like, yeah,
Yeah, perhaps I would still be worried about sleeping in the room right across from it.
yeah.
I would not.
Well, these people have been living in the zombie apocalypse, so they're not really worried about shit anymore.
Yeah, yeah. That's when something comes and bites you in the ass, literally, in the zombie apocalypse.
Oh, another thing. Abraham found a rocket launcher and almost killed
Yeah,
himself to get it.
yeah.
Why? What benefit is a rocket launcher in the zombie apocalypse?
Yeah, that's
When are
well.
you going to need a rocket launcher?
Well, actually, that might have been able to help save Glenn
Yeah.
because zombie. Well, I'm not sure. If you fire a rocket launcher at the building, hopefully some of the at a distance away, hopefully some of the zombies will go chase after that. But I'm not sure if that works for the ones that were directly surrounding the thing. So I don't know.
I can definitely say that a rocket launch, if nothing else can solve your problems, a rocket launcher will definitely do the job. So
I would basically use it as a
I think,
distraction for zombies.
yeah,
If you've got a mega horde of zombies coming your way, and you're not completely surrounded by them yet, fire the rocket launcher and at something and hope that they go towards that and let you get away.
yeah. If anything can. Sorry, I was distracted by my Google search for butt steak. I'd opened the tab up, and the fourth hit is the web page for steak to buy steak from this grocery store my roommates told me about once. So that was funny to me.
Oh.
Anyway, yes, a rocket launcher would have definitely saved Glenn. A rocket launcher would have probably solved all of the problems in the show. There were 5 rockets, so that's one for each season. It's just
Yeah, I mean, basically the point of the rocket launcher isn't to kill the zombies, because that would be
no,
pointless.
no, no.
Because
See. Okay. So the plot. So there wasn't an overarching gimmick in season 1. But if Abraham had been there with a rocket launcher, he would have been all like, "So there's zombies. Bam! Rocket launcher. There. Nobody's a zombie, and everyone's got cake. Every, and that's season 2. There's a little girl missing. Bam! I just shot her with a rocket launcher. Now she's not missing no more.
well, actually, the whole thing in season 2, the reason why they got split up was because there was a super horde.
Yeah.
There was a horde that was coming down through the freeway, right? If they had a rocket launcher and they'd fired it in the opposite direction, the zombies probably would have gone chasing after the loud boom.
Was my audio quality low this whole time? Because I just noticed that my microphone was being weird.
No, it seemed fine to me.
Okay. Do I sound better now?
I don't know. I don't think so.
Okay.
I can't tell.
Well, hopefully it's fine. Hopefully it's fine.
So
I'm just trying to come up with ways that a rocket launcher could have solved all of this series' problems because there were 5
Well,
rockets.
again, it's just a distraction. You can fire a long distance away, and if you fire it enough distance away and it goes off, it will the zombies will go that way and away
You
from
know what?
you.
Yeah, that works. Works. Good enough. Good enough.
Of course, you can also, as we saw a few episodes ago, you can also do that with a loud ass truck horn. So
Yeah, so basically, basically, a rocket launcher in the zombie apocalypse is just an air horn that kills people.
yeah. Well, I can't imagine using it to again. I think it would be wasting its potential for what it can do if you're just firing at people.
Yeah,
But but
I
again,
remember in Gmod, I would use a rocket launcher to just kill people. It's what you do in Gmod. You kill people.
but there's nothing then again, you can just rig up
Rocket
an alarm clock to a speaker
rocket
system
launchers
and
rocket launchers are more fun. I would piss off my friends so much. They'd be all like, "Oh, damn it. We just want to go into the Twilight Zone and you're shooting at us with rocket launchers."
boom.
There's your fucking Minecraft there, bitch.
But
Ah,
yeah,
so many in jokes. So many. And the next
and that one girl got eaten by the people that they'd caused to die, and that was
Yeah.
well, we can't say sad because they wound up
Eh.
her friends wound up stealing
They stole Daryl's crossbow.
and his bike.
But that doesn't matter. It's the crossbow that matters. Daryl needs to have his crossbow. That's his thing.
But they took it.
They also took his.
They took his bike.
They all-
That's a blow as well.
Yeah, he just got that bike back. You assholes. He's gonna fucking. You're gonna. he's gonna get it back. I know he's gonna get it back. They can't.
Yeah, he's gonna get both of those.
He
things
can't
back.
not have his crossbow.
Or his bike.
Okay, here's how fundamental the crossbow is to Daryl's character. Okay, because of my weird face thing, I can't remember what Hawkeye looks like in the Avengers movie, so I just imagine him. So I just picture him as Norman Reedus. That's how iconic the crossbow thing is. Norman Reedus is basically Hawkeye, but with a crossbow.
Yeah.
You take away the crossbow, and you just got purple Wolverine. Except actual Hawkeye uses a bow and arrow and not a crossbow. Even though a crossbow would be more efficient. Crossbow is like an infinity times more efficient.
Yeah, it's.
Why the crap does he still use the crossbow? Modernize the crap out of the rest of. Never mind. We've talked enough about Marvel in the previous times.
But yeah,
we'll talk about Marvel in the next Walking Dead crossover.
We still don't have an answer about Glenn, though.
Oh yeah, Glenn's dead.
What?
What?
We still have that still hasn't been officially confirmed.
No,
yet.
it hasn't. But yeah, he's pretty dead.
Yeah, he's probably again. I don't see a way that he could have survived.
I don't see how he could have survived. Have you seen Sherlock?
No.
Okay, so do you mind if I spoil it?
Not at all.
Okay, so there's an episode, the season 2 finale of Sherlock. Spoilers for Doctor Who and Walking Dead fans who don't watch Sherlock. This podcast is full of spoilers. Anyway, so season 2 finale, Sherlock dies, and the first episode of season 3 is entirely about how Sherlock survives. Because, of course he fucking survives. The show is called Sherlock. The whole episode, people are just making up crazy ways he could have survived. I shouldn't have said crazy. People are just coming up with increasingly ridiculous ways that he could have survived. And my favorite was one at the beginning of the episode. It had this amazing score going on where he he dies at the end of season 2 by jumping off a roof. And instead, he jumps off the roof, bungee jumps up into a window on the roof, so it looks like he's falling. Then he dresses up a dummy to look like him, throws it out quickly, and then the FBI escorts him out into space.
So basically, they employed a Deus Ex Machina, like mechanic.
Yeah, it doesn't sound as epic when I just say what it is, but the song.
Was there any hinting at all that he had this planned?
Yes. He acts like he has a contingency plan for everything, and they never actually explain how he canonically survived in the episode from falling off a building. But it's evident that he knew he was going to have to fake kill himself almost all of his life. So like he just did it. Yeah. Oh my god!
Again, I don't see how I don't see how Glenn could survive that. It was
okay. So the soundtrack that was playing was basically "Invaders Must Die," but like rearranged. Now that I'm trying to hum it for you, so I'm not gonna do that now. You know what "Invaders Must Die" is, right?
No.
That one song that's used in all the movie trailers.
Oh.
Na 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 na.
Are you going to speed that up and make it to the theme song for today's episode?
Maybe.
That would be awesome.
Or maybe do the time warp.
Yeah. So anyway, in 2 weeks, 2 weeks from today, Xenoblade Chronicles X comes out.
Oh yeah, that Nintendo Direct happened. Should we talk about that?
Did we talk about that last week?
I don't think it was out. Well, we speculated on stuff that would be in the.
That's right. We did a speculation episode. That's right.
I was considering asking you if we could do a special bonus episode of the podcast for that, but I was feeling like shit. I had been really busy that day, and when I came home, I was just all like, "Oh, hey, Cloud's Smash Brothers. I'm gonna go to bed now I'm just gonna pass out on my keyboard. Goodbye."
Yeah, that sounds like the Waking Dead.
I'm still clearing sleep spit out of my trackpad. No, I'm not. That was a joke.
So the Nintendo Direct was happened, and a lot of my predictions did not come true.
Nobody predicted Cloud. Okay, yeah, everybody predicted Cloud would be in Smash Brothers, but there was only like this one guy on Twitter who predicted it and a bunch of other stuff with such accuracy that he clearly gets credit for actually predicting it. This one guy on Twitter in 2011, he said Smash Brothers is going to be on 3DS and the Wii too, and Cloud's going to be in it. And then 4 years later, and then 4 or 5, whatever, 2015, yeah, 4 years later, there is a console called the Wii U. There is a sequel to the Wii that has a name that might as well be Wii 2. Smash Brothers is on that console and 3DS, and Cloud is in it for some reason. Cloud from Final Fantasy VII, the first Final Fantasy game that was not on a Nintendo system, has never been ported to a Nintendo system, and Cloud has never actually appeared on a Nintendo system except in a Final Fantasy spin-off and Kingdom Hearts.
But let's be clear here. They are making a Final Fantasy VII spin-off. I mean, not spin-off.
The HD remake, yes, but it's also
I'm taking this as confirmation that it's going to be on Nintendo system.
But see, Snake's inclusion in Brawl was actually advertising his PlayStation exclusive game, meaning Nintendo is actually so basically. I look at this as PlayStation started as a Nintendo project, so Nintendo's competition with PlayStation is just as integral to their legacy as their competition with Sega was. They're not necessarily
the Metal Gear and Snake had been on Nintendo console.
Yeah, the logic is that Cloud is the most iconic character from Final Fantasy franchise that did start on Nintendo console.
But again, like I said, in the original, that was Snake, wasn't
yes.
it? So it's not like it had been the original games that had him were initially an early Nintendo character, whereas Cloud is going to be in the new Final Fantasy VII remake, which is going to be on the Wii U.
They wanted to one up themselves. Like, all right, so our last character hasn't actually been a Nintendo character for almost a decade. How about now we have a character that isn't even a Nintendo character? They're just from a Nintendo franchise. Yeah, that works.
Well, like I said, I'm still taking it as confirmation that they're going to port the Final Fantasy VII remake onto Nintendo.
I'm gonna be happy either way because okay, Final Fantasy VII is on PC, so like I don't really have bearing in this plot in this argument. But I hope for your sake that it is ported to Wii, that the remake is put on Wii U. I would like that, but if it's not, Cloud being the most PlayStation character to ever be in Smash Brothers is just beautiful to me. I just love that Nintendo acknowledges that PlayStation is just as much a part of their legacy as Sega is. And Banjo-Kazooie has already been greenlit. If Microsoft and Nintendo have both said that they have absolutely no problem with putting Banjo-Kazooie in Smash Brothers. They just haven't announced it yet, which means it might actually happen.
Yeah, that's terrific news. And
I would personally prefer Yooka-Laylee being in Smash Brothers, but I understand for nostalgia purposes it would be better to have Banjo-Kazooie in the game.
Yeah.
So so while me personally I would prefer Yooka-Laylee, I think it's better for everybody, including me, if they just put Banjo in the game. Banjo and Kazooie. They gotta put both of them in.
And their final smash can be where Kazooie turns into a dragon.
You know what? Yeah, their final smash is they both turn into They both just turn into Yooka-Laylee because that's basic.
No, Kazooie turns into a dragon just like Kazooie does in Banjo-Tooie.
I've only played a little of Banjo 1, and I hadn't played Banjo-Tooie, and I didn't know that happened. And now you
can turn Kazooie can turn into a dragon and breathe fire.
Okay, the only reason I haven't played more of the Banjo games yet is because the N64 is very, very awkward to emulate. Emulators don't really work well for N64 games. Like, Kirby 64 has yet to be properly emulated by anybody on anything, apparently.
I thought Kirby 64 was emulated on the Wii U.
Yeah, but not perfectly. I forget exactly what the problem is, but they couldn't emulate a Kirby 64 100%, so it's not perfect.
What was the problem?
I don't remember.
Huh.
I can look it up. But yeah, and the shape of the controller means that it's difficult for me to figure out exactly what I'm supposed to do with it because I don't have a PC controller that's shaped like the N64's was. So like I don't know what the map stuff. Like there was a joystick in the middle of the keyboard. There was a joystick in the middle, and it was below some stuff, and there was some things, and there was like a
basically when it comes to most games on it, because I had trouble with the N64 controller at first.
Oh, the controller itself, I've seen how you're actually supposed to use it supposedly, and it looks like I could probably actually do that, but mapping the layout of an N64 controller to something that's similar to a PlayStation controller is damn near impossible, and I have no idea how. And emulating N64 games is just too much. It's just too much of a headache, and I'm just when it becomes if it ever becomes a reasonable thing for me to collect video games again, I'm just gonna just get an N64 and just do that. Because this guys, game companies, if you don't want people emulating your shit, do whatever the hell the N64 did, because that crap is not gonna be emulated, except by just the hardest of hardcore fans who have tons of headache medication. And now you can say your thing. I'm done ranting.
Okay. But anyway, yeah. So yeah, I think so I think they're gonna put Final Fantasy VII on I think they're gonna release that for the Wii U. Let's see here. What else was announced?
Pokemon games.
Yeah, they did not announce Pokemon Z, which was a surprise because
they instead announced Pokemon Red, Blue, and Yellow, and not the remakes of Pokemon Red and Green, for the Virtual Console.
Yeah, and they talked more about Pokemon Super Mystery Dungeon. But yeah, they completely left out any information on Pokemon Z, which actually does surprise me because again, that's a game that's going to be launching next year. But I guess it's probably going to release in autumn, and I guess they're going to wait to talk about it for.
Yeah, they don't need to announce it. It's inevitable. Every generation of Pokemon games has had a third version. The original generation had Pokemon.
Japan.
Generation 1 had Yellow, Generation 2 had Crystal, Generation 3 had Emerald, Generation 4 had Platinum.
Technically, Generation 1 was Blue.
So, yeah, actually.
Technically. And Yellow was a special edition, special case kind
of
thing.
They actually okay, so like it still qualifies the way I said it because Green wasn't they didn't release Blue in America. They just remade Red and Green with the improvements from Blue and release that in America, and then they release Yellow, and so Yellow counts as the third version, and I don't recall what I think Generation 5 was a weird one. They just released direct sequels to the original games from Generation 5 for Generation 5's third game, so that was weird. So that was made the.
But this time there's Pokemon. It's going to be Pokemon Z, and they've already announced that as I can't remember what it's called now, but that snake looking thing is going to have a new form that they've shown in Koro magazine, I think it's called, over in Japan. But yeah, they didn't make a formal announcement on the Nintendo Direct.
Well, like I said, they don't need to. Everybody knows it's happening. They don't need to announce it. They needed to announce this Pokemon Red, Blue, Red, Yellow thing. I don't remember what games they're releasing because the
Red, Blue, and Yellow for the Game
Generation 1 was confusing. So Red, Blue, and Green versions all exist, but different regions got different games, and then everyone got Yellow anyway.
Yeah. Red, Blue, and Yellow is what they're releasing for at least America. I don't know what they're doing in Japan, but
I'm sure they'll figure something out in Japan.
And they will be, and you will be able to trade between them.
Yes,
but you won't be able to trade with the current gen games.
They haven't actually announced. They haven't actually said that yet. So until they come out, we don't know that for certain.
Yeah, that would be a pretty big because they said that the changes are minimal, and they really said the only changes is how they connect. They'd have to change they'd have to change a lot of the mechanics in order to make it feasible because the stat system in Pokemon Red and Blue and Pokemon
Linkara released a tutorial a couple time ago of how to trade Generation 1 Pokemon into current gen using mods and stuff, and I'm fairly certain that if you can jerry-rig a Generation 1 Pokemon to work in Generation 6, then Nintendo could probably have done it legitimately if they felt like it. I don't think they would have, though, because since these kinds are coming to the Virtual Console, that means that Missing No is still in, which means bad stuff.
Yeah. It's basically a lot more trouble than it's worth. And,
well, not really. Missing No would basically just turn into a Kangaskhan when it was traded up, and
I was also referring to the fact that the stat system is, again, they completely overhauled the stat system. I mean, there's all these variables that they'd have to.
Not really. Linkara explained that you can actually quite easily convert them to current gen systems. I mean, but with math and stuff.
Well, I don't know how.
He successfully traded a Pikachu from Pokemon Yellow into Pokemon, the one we're on now. I forgot.
6th generation?
Yeah, that one. It got in. It's
Yeah,
perfectly legal.
I haven't watched the video. I don't know if it's feasible. I don't know. I mean,
Yeah, you don't
I
have you
don't know
don't
how much would have to be
you don't
done
have to watch it.
to
I'm going to watch it when it becomes feasible for me to for me to play video to own video games again, so that I can get it due.
But yeah, I just don't know if it's something that Nintendo's really into. I mean,
Yeah.
because there are a lot of
They
variables that were
really don't need to because Generation 1 remakes exist in Generation 3, so
yeah.
it's not like the Kanto region, like Pokemon actually caught in the Kanto region can't be transferred to Generation 6. They
And then of course there's also the problem again where there's all kinds of moves from Generation 1 and 2 that they just haven't been able to use since most notoriously Fisher.
well, uh,
Fisher was a one-hit KO move that was available on TM in the first generation, and being able to have Pokemon that can have that move and probably a few other moves suddenly added into the move pool of the current gen would probably be devastating, to put it lightly. I mean,
okay. I thought you were saying Fisher, like fisherman. That confused me.
no, Fisher as in the move Fisher, which is a one-hit KO
I thought
move.
that was pronounced fissure. I never heard.
Maybe it is.
I don't think I've ever heard it
I
pronounced. Most people just say earthquake. But earthquake exists in Pokemon, so that wouldn't have worked.
a Fisher is actually a crack in the earth.
Let's see.
There are fissures, and I've living in California
Yep.
as long as I've actually been on something like that.
Fissure is only TM in Generation 1, but Earthquake is a TM in every generation after, so. And that's Earthquake.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The TM is it's only a TM in Generation 1, and it's a very problematic TM. It's one of the more because it's the only time that a one hit KO move has ever been a TM, and
Charizard Charizard can't learn Seismic Toss anymore. That upsets me.
yeah, that learned that in Generation
Yeah,
1
in the anime, one of Charizard's most well known moves, Seismic Toss. Nintendo, if Nintendo Game Freak, if don't think that don't think that you're off just because don't think that
Although I do think Charizard can use Seismic Toss because I do believe Seismic Toss was one of the ones they made
Yep.
to a move tutor move.
most versions of most versions of Pokemon allow Charizard to have Seismic Toss, but not currently, not in the current generation.
Well, ones can be traded to it from previous
No,
generations.
no,
Yeah.
no. You have to get rid of the move.
Why?
Because Nintendo Game Freak decided, hey, Blue Flame Swordsman. Yeah.
So the way you trade it into Generation 6 games doesn't allow it to keep the
Yeah,
move.
generation. The Pokebank, I guess, will recognize Charizard, Charizard with Seismic Toss as illegal and won't take it.
Huh, well, that's bullshit.
Yeah, it is.
Especially given the fact that Pokemon Bank is a premium service.
Yeah,
That
yeah. It's like Game Freak, Nintendo. Don't think that you're off the hook just because you're doing most of the shit right. I am just as upset about the Seismic Toss Charizard thing as I am Konami all the shit they've done to Yu-Gi-Oh. I recently remembered Blue Flame Swordsman happened, and I'm just infuriated by that. It's like Blue Flames. I was so excited before Joey's World collection came out. I was so excited that Flame Swordsman was finally going to actually be usable competitively. It still wouldn't have been a good card, but at least it would have been usable now. And then the card came out and had nothing to do with fusion monsters. The effect it has now is arguably better, but since it can't be used to summon Flame Swordsman, it doesn't support a character deck based on Joey anymore, so it doesn't work. It just
and let's see what else happened.
You done fucked it up, Konami. You done fucked it. Sorry, I've been on a Yu-Gi-Oh thing recently. I've been trying to get back into Yu-Gi-Oh, and I don't remember how this got started.
So anyway, there's also Linkle. Linkle was announced as being
Yep, Linkle was finally announced. They had released the Hyrule Warriors art book previously, which made it apparent that Linkle was at least conceptualized before.
Yes, it was concept art in the original, but they'd taken out. And then when they showed off the new characters for Hyrule Warriors Legends, there had been a crossbow that looked like Linkle's crossbow in the just dangling off to the side, and now it's confirmed that was indeed a hint that Linkle's going to be in the game. Linkle has been confirmed.
There's also a theory that Linkle is the Link that's in Zelda U.
There's a theory that Linkle has some connection to Tingle because Tingle's Japanese name is Tinkle,
Even if that's not confirmed, it's gonna be my headcanon that Linkle that
and she like Tingle, she also has that big compass around her neck.
it's gonna be my headcanon that Linkle is Tingle's daughter and she's a massive Link fangirl, so she dresses up like him. But she also does her hair like Zelda for some reason. So that's cool.
Well, another theory again, a theory that's just floated is the idea that she is Ariel from Wind Waker, and that one is actually one that I came up with myself as well as other people have, and that's actually somewhat of an interesting theory because a lot of the new elements in Hyrule Warriors Legends come from Wind Waker, and having and well, Ariel again had blonde hair. I'm not sure if she had blue eyes or green eyes, but
I'm looking at her. I'm looking at her now. The art style of Wind Waker. Everyone just had
yeah, had
dot eyes. Yeah.
yeah, it looks like black eyes, but in some of the pictures I've seen, it looks like they might be a greenish tint to them. So it's hard to say, but it's really hard to say definitively.
I'm actually looking at it and I'm seeing what you're talking about. It's just an optical illusion from her face shadow and her hair. It's the colors that are around her eyes.
And so, but anyway, so and again, this role has pigtails. Linkle has pigtails quite like.
I'm seeing a screenshot where she looks like she has greenish tints on her eyes. Okay, yeah.
But yeah, so anyway, it's probably not Ariel because they said that because it sounds like they're saying that it's not. But and Nintendo's also immediately kicked the fan theory that it's a Link post hormones. They nipped that in the butt immediately. They're like, no, this is not Link. This is not Link after hormones. No.
Okay, great, Nintendo. Good job.
They didn't quite say it like that, but they put to bed any idea that it might be Link. No, that it might be Link.
No, it is my headcanon for reality that they did put it that way because they're dicks.
Yeah. Well, like I said, my headcanon for right now is that it's Link post transition. That Linkle is actually the Link from Hyrule Warriors, the first one, and that this is her a few years later. That's my headcanon for this. Headcanon is too strong for.
Yeah.
But then let's see here. What else was announced? There was
some stuff that happened.
Yeah, my prediction that there was going to be a big crossover between Smash Brothers and Splatoon ultimately turned out to not hold water, which is too bad. It would be nice if they if they did some there, and it would still be nice if they had some amiibo outfits there. And I'm not ruling out that they won't do that still, but it's not something that panned out this time. And in terms of outside of the cloud announcement, they didn't really announce anything for Smash. And yeah, but we did get they did announce a Midna amiibo. I'm sorry, a Wolf Link amiibo, but everyone knows it's Midna amiibo.
Yeah. The amiibo's interactions with other games is definitely going to revolve around Midna. So yeah, it's definitely the Midna amiibo. Also, I think it's of note that we should mention that this is the first Nintendo Direct they did after Iwata's sad passing recently.
Yes.
And taking over for him was Reggie himself and Bill.
Have you seen that video yet of
Bill?
Yeah, but have you seen the video of where they spliced Bill Nye the Science Guy with Reggie yelling Bill?
Nope, I'm looking for it. I will find it.
Because there is a video where it does the opening of Bill Nye because Bill Nye the Science Guy, Bill Nye the Science Guy, and then Reggie Bill, and it's
yeah, the yokai made him eat the donuts. Anyone who hadn't seen the Nintendo Direct is going to be really confused by that statement.
Bill.
Okay, I found it.
Actually, if they're at all familiar with how Nintendo does things, that really shouldn't be confused because Nintendo marches to a beat of their own drummer.
Yeah. Anyway, Bill actually works at Nintendo as a translator and apparently PR and marketing. I'm just skimming through his Wikipedia article. It seems like the most notable thing he does is he is usually Shigeru Miyamoto's English interpreter.
Ah.
So that's a thing, but I kind of want to just make sure that that's not the most significant thing he does because then I'm making light of his accomplishments if I'm saying that's the only thing he's done. But so far it looks like he's mostly just a translator. Which not to say that being a translator for a Japanese company is something to be ashamed of. I'm just seeing if he's done anything else.
Well, there is the part where he goes, "It's good." What was it? It's life's good when you're a ninja block.
Oh yeah, that. Okay, so this guy. Wait, that was him.
Life's good when you're a
Wow,
ninja block. Yeah,
I must have zoned out. Okay, so basically, Bill Trinan, he is the English interpreter for Shigeru Miyamoto. He does translating work for Nintendo and localization and stuff, and PR and marketing stuff. He eats donuts when possessed by yokai, and he tells people it's good to be a ninja block.
Life's good when you're a ninja
Life's
block.
good when you're a ninja block. This TV is shaped like an apple.
That was Reggie. Here's a TV that looks like an
Here's
apple.
a TV that looks like an apple.
Here's 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 a TV that looks like an apple.
Life's good when you're a ninja
Life's
block.
good when you're an Apple TV. Has Apple made a TV yet?
Yeah, I think so. There's an Apple TV, and so people show Reggie saying, "Here's a TV that looks like an apple." Nintendo already beat Apple to the Apple TV. Sorry, Apple.
All right.
Here's a TV.
Here's an apple that looks like a TV. Actually, wait, Apple.
But yeah, there was a lot of things. The Fire Emblem Fates is going to be released next year. That's not really. I don't really care.
I don't care either, honestly.
My friend got harassed to hell and back over coverage of that game. So that game can go fuck off into the pit for all I care.
I was just going to say that I have little interest in Fire Emblem, sadly, but that's actually a pretty good thing too. I still haven't. I had a very bad experience with Super Mario Galaxy 2 for something similar, so I haven't really looked into that ever again.
Oh, you got harassed over something for Super Mario 2?
I don't want to talk about it. Hold on, my phone's ringing. Okay, it was just an alarm to remind me to take my anxiety medication, which is very relevant to this conversation. I'm gonna do that.
Okay, so you want to end the podcast here?
We don't need to. I mean, my medication's right here in the purse that I have next to me. It's like, if you wanted to, like, do we have anything else to talk about?
Yeah, let's talk about Xenoblade Chronicles X.
Okay, it's a video game, and
Wii U exclusive for right now. It's looking to be. Oh, there's some controversy over it.
Of course there is. There's a controversy in a video game.
So anyway, there are actually two controversies.
You know what? I'd be surprised if there wasn't a controversy
at this point. So anyway, there is a character who is 13 years old who some of the clothing options in the Japanese version. It would be easier to say what they're not wearing than what they're wearing. So for the US version, they've bumped the character's age up to 15 or 16, I think, and they're putting them in clothes that cover a bit more. They're still risque clothing. Let's not beat around the bush here. They're not. Some people have called them. They've put them in age appropriate clothing. That's still debatable, but at least now they're showing less skin than they were before, at the very least. And this of course upset a lot of people in a certain group, because how dare they censor a video game that's that has a very scantily clad and sexualized child? Yeah. That's not an argument I would make, and you really want to make. No, that doesn't make you look very good. You know. But anyway, it's so
weird. It's so weird. I was just having fun with the video game earlier, just immediately before starting this podcast, and now we're talking about this, and now I'm remembering what the modern day video game scene is like, and I'm like, wow.
And another thing that's getting is also in the American localization of Xenoblade Chronicles X, they have removed breast sliders. If you don't now let me explain to the viewers here. When I say breast sliders, I don't mean like those burger sliders. When I say sliders, I mean when you select a character, you have sliders that you can set like details of. It's a sliding thing that scale that moves up and down. Like if you've played say Skyrim, you're familiar with
Okay,
sliders.
Here's an example. I played a wrestling game with my friends at a sleepover once, and there was a character customizer, and you have and it's basically like sliders in a character customizer.
Yeah, that's exactly
there was a boob customizer in that game, because if there's a game with a character customizer, it's going to have a boob slider.
Yeah. Well, this one they removed for the American release. They have removed the breast slider, which for 99% of the people is no one's going to give a shit. But for this one group is very upset about the censorship involved in removing and being able to have all your characters run around with big floppy tits. Why is this a controversy? I don't understand why this is a
Okay,
controversy.
now, if it's a very robust character customizer and it would otherwise be possible to make your character look exactly like you, women that have large breasts or men that have large breasts or just anybody that has large breasts would probably want their character to look as closely like them as possible. But I assume those aren't the people that are getting angry about this. So
Yeah, no. I mean, I can understand that. I mean, to some degree, I understand wanting to have a bit of. Although then again, to be fair, why not have a? Well, but it's basically again, it's going to default to the default size. You're not going to be able to make them smaller or larger, and I think for the most part that's a-okay
yeah,
because again,
they,
who are really angry about this want theirs to be like Sangren Kagura or
yeah, I'm
whatever.
sure these assholes. I'm sure these assholes wouldn't complain if what was censored, if what was removed was like the race changing feature or color switcher
Oh
color
yeah,
thing.
yeah. They definitely yeah. These are the same people that tend to be that tend to get throw a fit whenever there's a person of color in a
How
video game.
dare
Yeah,
you
no,
add a color slider to my game? Where's my boob slider?
yeah. Oh, gamers are so gross. But yeah. So anyway, that's the big controversy surrounding this game. Well, yeah.
At this point, every video game has a controversy surrounding it. Every game has a controversy surrounding it. There isn't a damn thing that I can think of that I can point to and say there aren't tons of people throwing a huge temper tantrum and doxing people and harassing people and having people arrested over this shit.
Yeah. But yeah. So yeah. There's a huge controversy whenever a game doesn't have 60 frames per second.
Like I think literally the only thing I can think of off the top of my head is Lego, and they've had enough shit in their life going on, and even they've done some shit that was actually pretty bad.
Yeah.
So never mind. Nope. Lego doesn't count either. So let's play a game. Think of something, literally anything that doesn't have some horrible controversy surrounding it.
Any video game?
Literally anything, anything.
Hmm. Anything. Water is wet.
uh, that it is. I can't think of one. We have a winner, folks. We have a winner. Water is wet. The only thing in the whole,
The least controversial thing we can
the
think of.
only uncontroversial thing we can think of. That is literally the only thing. So, space, yeah.
The sky is blue. Actually, there is some argument to that. So yeah.
The sky is varying shades of colors. The sky is varying shades of color depending on the chemicals and light variance and all that shit. And it's probably not.
So that's a statement that has a well, I'm not sure if that's a controversy, but argument around it.
No, controversy is actually just a fancy word for a heated argument.
Yeah.
So yeah, people can get pretty upset when you challenge their perception of reality. So yes, if you argued with the color of the sky, it would get pretty heated because people were weird.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, Xenoblade Chronicles X looks to be a should I do a spoiler for the hopefully upcoming, hopefully it's still going to be on for the upcoming game of the video game awards that we're planning on doing on Draw Talk. Do you want a little spoiler into that? Yeah. So anyway, on Draw Talk, we're planning on doing an end of the year gaming awards show. And basically, each of the hosts is gonna give awards to whatever game they feel like, and right now on the short list of contenders for a game of the year from me is definitely Xenoblade Chronicles, the original one.
Mm-hmm.
And that's probably going to be controversy in and of itself, giving a port of a game that came out 5 years ago and giving its port game of the year for this year, 5 years later.
Games
is
from
probably a controversial thing, but
the most fun I've had with video games lately is games that were made 5 to 10 years ago. So except for FTL, I need to check when that came out. I'm gonna laugh if it came out 5 years ago. It came out in 2012, so 3 years ago. 3 years. 3 years.
But yeah, so yeah, I'm definitely Xenoblade Chronicles is definitely on my short list, and Xenoblade Chronicles X will not because I'm I don't I'm not saying that a game that's released in the last year of the year can't be on that year's, but
It's
I don't know,
it's a typical it's a typical award move to release something big and exciting that will distract people right as the award season comes up, so that people will be like, "Oh, this wins all the awards because it's so great!" And then a couple months later, they'll like, "Why did we give that an award? We should have waited a couple of weeks." That's why we typically do these things at the end of the.
Chronicles X.
That's
Yeah, Xenoblade Chronicles X is a game that came out in Japan earlier this year. It's already been out in Japan, but the you know how the translation it takes a while. So it will be coming out on I believe December 2nd. I think it's December 2nd, and that would put it exactly 2 weeks from today. And I am hoping to get it. It might be December 4th. I'm not sure. It's either December 2nd or December 4th.
I'm googling it. Xenoblade Chronicles X, December 4th.
Okay, so it's
Wait, no. December 4th for North America. Never mind. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's 2 weeks from Friday when it's coming out. Yeah, I intend to get that game, and I intend to play the shit out of it.
Okay, so wait, why is this confusing? It says December 4th for North America and Europe, and December 5th in Australia. Australia always has weird release dates for games, but why is it releasing on a different day if the different day is only the day after? That's weird.
Isn't Australia in a different time zone?
Yes, but that doesn't games there shit gets released on the same day in different things.
I don't know. I don't know.
Video games. Who cares about things that make sense?
But yeah, I intend to play the shit out of Xenoblade Chronicles X, and it looks exciting because I like because it has a similar design to the. Well, I do have some concerns about it, but overall it looks to have similar designs, some similar aspects to Xenoblade Chronicles, and I'm hoping I like it. And I intend to get it and play it.
This developer also made Pikmin 3 and Splatoon, and 2 Animal Crossing games, and A Link Between Worlds.
Which developer?
The developer of Kyoto Software, the development studio of apparently it's Monolith Soft, the developer of the game we were just talking about,
They made Xenoblade. They made Xenoblade Chronicles and a lot of the other Xeno games going back 20 years.
Going back 20 years. Let's see. The Xenosaga. There's Xenosagas.
There's also Xeno.
Namco X Capcom. That was them that they made.
Yeah, so I'm hoping I'll enjoy it.
Says here they actually made Super Smash Bros. Brawl. That's confusing. Okay, development cooperation. Okay, so they cooperated with Sora Ltd for that, I guess. They made some Dragon Ball Z fighting game. Skyward Sword. They made Skyward Sword.
Oh, that's not a good sign.
And an untitled Nintendo game that we don't know what it is. They haven't released it yet. They haven't announced it yet. It's just they're working on a game that's not this for that. Why does Wikipedia list Monolith Soft as working under the names of 2 companies? I don't understand.
Because they probably the same reason why Square Enix would be listed under working under 2 companies.
No, but see, it says it's a game. Okay, so under list of games developed by Monolith Soft, it splits off into list of games by Tokyo Soft and list of games by Kyoto Software.
They're probably different subsidiaries within the larger company. I don't know.
Okay, Wikipedia's been weird too. I don't. Fuck it.
But yeah, how about we call that the end for the show?
Yeah. I got some editing work to do on this. We've been talking for 2 hours.
Yes,
we have been Waffles.
So that's all for the show.
We have been your host, Cat Waffles and Waffle Cat. Good day to you.
Join us next time where Doctor Who couldn't possibly be any worse than this week's, or could it?
Oh yeah, this episode. I am looking forward to this episode. If this episode disappoints me, I will be very sad.
Yes.
Everybody who's read the words knows the words that I am words. Words. None of that made sense.
And good night, everybody. Sausages.
Sausages.